It's week number 33 of the coronavirus pandemic here in Los Angeles. And let me start off by talking about something where I left off in last week's video, wildfires. The Los Angeles Fire Department did stress to the public that it's been one of the worst years of wildfires in Los Angeles' history, and that for the remainder of 2020, future wildfires could happen. Case in point, this past Monday on October 26th, in the early hours in the morning, around 6 a.m., a wildfire broke out in the Orange County area, pretty close to the city of Irvine, and it was dubbed the Silverado Fire. It actually has burned so far for this entire week over 13,000 acres, and it has been 70% contained. And this just shows the data of the Los Angeles Fire Department, and they are stressing to people in the Los Angeles region, the Orange County region, and all the region of Southern California to be on the lookout, to have a plan of evacuation, and that this wildfire season is not over. It can still continue until the very end of the year of 2020. To more exciting news that happened this week, and it actually happened the next day, on Tuesday, October 27th in the evening, and it has to do with sports, more particularly Major League Baseball. On that day, on that night, the Los Angeles Dodgers won the World Series for the first time in 32 years since 1988, their 7th championship. And my gosh, it was such an awesome game. I'm not a baseball person, but I do follow all the Los Angeles teams, and that day was a roller coaster of emotions. It was awesome, and you can tell how joy, pure ecstasy of just celebrating that moment with the rest of the city of Los Angeles. And to be more ironic, that same day, October 27th, it was actually my second wedding anniversary with my sweetheart, my wife. So you're welcome, Los Angeles, that my anniversary was the day of your celebration as well. But I was also cheering the Dodgers on to win, and they actually did. And for their third attempt in the last 4 years, they actually made it, and it's awesome. So congratulations, Los Angeles, and it was awesome. I can't wait when this whole thing is done. Hopefully COVID is done. We can finally have an awesome parade. But the only thing that I didn't like about it is that just like the basketball game where it was played in a neutral site in Orlando, the same thing happened with this championship game, the World Series. It actually was being played in Texas, and instead of your traditional home and away game. So we couldn't celebrate it in the Dodger Stadium, but there was a lot of people watching it in the big screen on their television sets, just eagerly waiting for this moment. And what a moment it was. So again, congratulations, Dodgers. Go Dodgers. Halloween was this past Saturday, and what a Halloween it was, because it was very peculiar. It wasn't like any Halloween I've ever experienced. The reason why is because we're living in a pandemic right now, and because of COVID-19, the Los Angeles City Council and City Hall and the mayor of Los Angeles explicitly said that a lot of things were banned for Halloween. For example, no trick-or-treating, no haunted houses, no Halloween parties, no carnivals, none of that stuff, because they wanted to keep people from gathering in large crowds and from COVID-19 from spreading out of control. The reason why is because of the lessons learned this past year. For example, Memorial Day and 4th of July, where people were ignoring the warnings, they were gathering, not social distancing, and guess what happened? Large numbers of COVID-19 cases spiking out of control. So they were putting their foot down on this one, and the police were enforcing it everywhere. Here in my neighborhood in Los Angeles, it was basically dead. No pun intended, but that's what it was. Nobody had any Halloween parties. For the children, they had something maybe early in the day to give candy away, but it was mostly anyone that was inside their own household. For me in particular, I dressed up. I actually dressed up with my wife. We were two Disney characters from a movie called Lilo and Stitch. I was Stitch. She was Angel, Stitch's girlfriend. And it was basically like a onesie kind of thing. And what we did was we ordered nachos, got some candy, did some takeout, and watched some scary movies, Halloween cartoons, horror anime, and stuff like that to pass the time because there was nothing else to do. And like I said, it was very interesting at Halloween, but not the way that we thought we were going to celebrate it. But we had to do with what we have, and what we had was just scary movies and takeout. So it was a very interesting Halloween again. Regarding the coronavirus here in Los Angeles, the number of cases, deaths, and hospitalizations continue to decrease. However, there was a slight spike that happened, and it happened in Halloween, of course, because a lot of people weren't listening to the warnings, especially from the Los Angeles Public Health, saying to be sure to social distance each other and not to do large parties. However, it wasn't to the degree of what we saw earlier this year. For example, the Memorial Day weekend and the 4th of July weekend, where it spiked out of control. It was actually a little bit more less than that. But they want to urge all Angelenos to be very wary of the changing seasons, that now that we're in fall and pretty close to winter, because of the colder climate, there is a higher chance of infection of COVID-19 and other flu-like symptoms as well. So they want to make sure that all Angelenos do their best, do their part to wear a mask, to wash their hands, to social distance, to sanitize everything to make sure that we can stop the spread of COVID-19 from going out of control like what's going on in the rest of the United States. As the infection rate in the city of Los Angeles is decreasing, the same cannot be said nationally in the United States, because for the past week, it actually been one of the worst weeks of coronavirus cases in the United States ever recorded since the start of this pandemic. It has averaged over 75,000 cases daily, new cases, since the start of Monday ending on Sunday. And not only that, this past October 30th was the single highest day of new COVID-19 cases ever to be recorded in the United States. Almost 99,000 new cases were reported on that single day. That just goes to show that the second wave is here in the rest of the United States, and a lot of people are not taking it very seriously. And as if these rates continue, it could shatter more records in the next upcoming weeks. That's why the CDC and the Public Health Department are urging all the citizens in the United States to take necessary precautions, to do everything possible to stop the spread of COVID-19, to keep each other safe and to keep oneself safe, to make sure you're wearing a mask, social distancing, and to make sure that you're washing your hands and sanitizing everywhere in your living area to do your best. And that's all we can do at this point. As I'm recording this, today is Sunday, November 1st. We finally reached the 11th month of the year 2020. But not only that, there are only 2 days left until the general election, in which we're not only voting for a president, we're voting who could be the next senator, congressman, assemblyman, and also voting propositions as well. A lot of things could remain the same or it could change. It all depends on a single vote. So, today I did my civic duty of voting. I went to the voting center to cast in my mail-in ballot. And when I went there, there was actually two ways of doing it. I could actually go to a yellow mailbox in which I can cast my vote. But the workers that were in the voting center said that if I did that, my vote wouldn't count it until the election day. But if I wanted my vote to count immediately, I could actually get it to go inside the voting center. So I went in there, and there was actually signs to take you and direct you of where to go. And not only that, there was actually foot signs on the bottom to keep you 6 feet apart. They were practicing social distancing. So when I went in front, I basically said that I had my mail-in ballot. It was signed and dated, and I actually can cast my vote then and there into that big box. So once I did that, I got my voted sticker right here. I was actually pretty excited for it, and I did my civic duty. So now my vote is counted on for today, and hopefully for the election day that's going to happen pretty soon. So a lot of things could happen on this election day. So many things. But I will keep you posted on next week's video to see what are the results. So that is it for today's video. And one more thing, it actually was the start of daylight time savings. Today, November 1st, we actually had to move by 1 hour behind. So it's going to get darker much faster here in Los Angeles and probably the rest of the United States. And like I said before, I went out to vote. I did my civic duty, but not only myself, my wife did. We both did our civic duties and patriotic duty of voting. So we're going to see what happens in this upcoming election. So everyone, stay strong, stay safe, and if you're an American citizen, go out and vote.